Namaste, hello, and welcome back to another video on Hamsavahini Vajraasthra. I'm Awhona. In today's video, I'm going to share some of my thoughts on The Watchmaker of Filigree Street by Natasha Pulley, which I recently completed. Now, I picked up this book while participating in the Readalong, which was hosted by Katie from Books and Things, and the Readalong dates were from the 14th of February till the 28th of February, and I do understand I did finish it off a bit early, but that's because this was an absolutely enjoyable and absorbing read for me. So I will post a link to Katie's announcement video in the description box below, as well as link it in the overhead cards above for all of you to cross-check. So do please join me further in this video. So now let's come down to the plot of this book. So The Watchmaker of Filigree Street is set in Victorian London, and we do have 19th century Japanese elements in it as well, which is something which I absolutely loved. Now there are subplots within the plot, and our main protagonist, Daniel Stapleton, is a telegraphist working as a junior clerk in the Home Office in London. He leads an absolutely monotonous life, and his only family is that of his widowed sister, who lives, I believe her name is Annabelle, and she lives with her two sons. So Thaniel's main objective is to ensure that his nephews receive a proper education and they have a proper place to stay. So he works very hard, and he is a gifted pianist, but he could not play the piano because of the circumstances in his life, which took turn for the worst. So he had to pick up this job as a telegraphist, and he works for the civil services. Now, one day he receives a message from the Irish extremist group stating that there will be bombings in the London offices, all the government officers. So he immediately notifies his senior clerks, as well as there are precautions which are taken all along. In the meanwhile, on Daniel's birthday, he does receive a surprise when he sees a pocket watch lying on his pillow, and somebody has come and kept it. There is no note as to who has kept it over there, and the only, I would say, sign that the pocket watch is meant for him is the ribbon which is wrapped around this pocket watch, which has his name written on it. So Daniel tries to understand and tries quite hard to place the person who could have probably given him this mysterious gift, but he finally understands that it's beyond him. And the watch is absolutely exquisite. It is beautiful. It is made of rose gold, and the intricate work and the inlay is fabulous, and the watch starts revealing secret sections about it as it unlocks gradually as the days proceed. Now, as the day for the bombing threat nears, there are a lot of changes which are made in the office, and everybody awaits with bated breath as to what will happen after the bombing, and should it happen in reality. And Finally, this watch ends up saving Thaniel's life, and Thaniel immediately tries to meet the maker of this watch, who stays on Filigree Street. So he comes upon this Japanese man who is an aristocrat. Of course, Thaniel never knew that he was an aristocrat initially. He came to know that later. So Keita Mori is the watchmaker, and he makes exquisite watches. His whole world is made of clockwork, and he has brilliant scientific inventions as well, which are all mechanical. He loves mechanics, and he has made sparrows, and there is a brilliant octopus which is by the name of Katsu, which actually was my favorite element in this book. And Katsu has beautiful clockwork networks within it, which makes it very flexible and absolutely fascinating. And Thaniel and Keita Mori, or let's say Mr. Mori, they become very good friends, and their friendship becomes quite deep as the days proceed. Now, in the subplot which is happening along the sidelines, we also have Grace Caro, who is a brilliant university student. Grace is a scientist, and she is hell-bent upon proving her scientific theory of the existence of ether, for which she needs not only empirical and mathematical but also non-empirical elements in it. Grace needs to prove her scientific theory, and for this she must cross-dress for gaining access to all those circles within the scientific community where only men are allowed. And for this she takes help of her very close friend Akira Matsumoto, who happens to be another Japanese aristocrat who is currently studying at university for perfecting his English so that he can translate the great Japanese works from his culture into English. So Matsumoto and Grace become very close because they are I would say they are like-minded, but their heads operate in the, or their minds tend to work in the same way, wherein they are focused in their work and so thoroughly absorbed in it that they will go to any length to make sure that they get what they need. So we do find Grace Sparrow occasionally being babysitted by Matsumoto in many cases, and being checked upon by Matsumoto because Grace happens to be quite brilliant, yet she is quite bold in her experimentation, and usually her experiments lead to an exothermic reaction, and therefore there are usually explosions which are associated with her so-called sojourns with her experiments. So it is up to Matsumoto to ensure that Grace is kept in the usual sphere of women, and he does try and bring his intellectual gentlemanly friends with him as well. So however, Grace is not romantically inclined, so she ends up being friends with them, but of course it is only Matsumoto whom she trusts. Now Grace and her family, especially her father, have an arrangement wherein Grace will be inheriting her aunt's massive property on the only condition that she marries an English gentleman, and also this gentleman is going to be handed over the entire property and the investments of the family in parts where after Grace's marriage with him. So Grace needs to quickly find a place where she can conduct her experiments in a full-fledged laboratory, and she tries and searches for a gentleman who can understand this as a business proposition wherein they both can benefit. And this is where our main protagonist, Thaniel Stapleton, comes in contact with Grace Sparrow, and both of them understand that there is a business arrangement because Thaniel wants a place where he can raise his nephews and give them a proper education, and Grace wants a place where she can conduct her research peacefully without any problems, and therefore they both do get married, but things do start going a bit wary from there, as I would like to put it. So this is where the plot of the story takes a completely different direction, and it so happens that it is revealed that Mr. Mori is a clairvoyant, and his clairvoyance is something which Grace's experiment could profit with, because it's a non-empirical science. So this is something which is further explored in the plot. Now, I don't want to talk too much because I will end up revealing everything within it, but so this story does have beautiful elements of magical as well as non-magical and scientific elements within it. I absolutely loved the characterization, and the language was absolutely picturesque. I was a bit disappointed with what happens to Katsu at the end, but then that's how the story goes, and I am quite curious about what happens in the concluding part, because I believe there is a part 2 for this as well, which I have recently acquired, and I'm not too sure if there is a link between this and that particular book, but hopefully the plots are that is a sequel to this one, so quite looking forward to that. However, I thoroughly enjoyed this particular book. It was absolutely absorbing, and I did post a review about this on GoodReads, and this was a 5-star read for me. I will post a link to my GoodReads review in the description box below, so you can just click on it, and it will take you straight to the review, of course. And I do really apologize for the background noise, because my neighbor's dog is kind of not very happy. So anyway, those were my few thoughts on this particular book. Do let me know if you have finished this book, or if you have read it before, what your thoughts were. I would love to know about it, and also talk with you about it in the comment section below. So that's all I have for today, and I will see you soon again next week with another video. So till then, take care, have a good reading week ahead, and namaste.